and John is a physical pentesting specialist located in Norway. And yeah, I have to say that because I was recently on Brian Harris training, and people were like very excited with you and like spoke your name like in conversations that you are like very famous person in Norway and you're invited to a lot of conferences. And I was like, oh, I know him. I know. So yeah, could you maybe introduce yourself to everyone?
Thank you for having me on your Twitch. My name is John-André Bjørkhaug. I'm a Norwegian. I work for a company called Net Security here in Norway. I'm doing penetration testing, both physical and IT. I am focused on physical penetration testing and infrastructure testing. I also do some hardware hacking and social engineering. I've been doing penetration testing since 2008. I started to work for the Norwegian National Security Authority. I'm originally an electronics engineer, but it's much more fun to break stuff than building stuff. So therefore, I'm a hacker or penetration tester.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you my first question because you just showed me that you're working on some hardware hacking thing. Can you tell me what that is and like show me?
Yeah, I'm just working on a card skimmer, RFID skimming device. Um, so we have had several tests that we wanted to mount something next to the card reader to be able to snatch the card or sniff the cards. So I'm working on something with an ESP32 and some NFC hats to be able to make something small and cheap, which we can mount next to the reader to be able to skim the cards, both for Micro Classic cards and EM cards.
Yay, that's a fun project. Can you tell us more about your journey into physical penetration testing and social engineering and how did you get started?
Yeah, it started kind of early when I was like 10 years old. I was really curious about a locker my brother had in his bedroom. And it had a padlock on it. So I needed to find out how to open that padlock and to be able to see what's inside. So I made my own lockpick out of a hacksaw and a grinding machine. And I managed to pick that lock and open the locker. And after that, I've been just fascinated about physical security, how to break locks and all that. And also, of course, movies like Sneakers and movies like that really made me interesting in doing this kind of work.
Is that your favorite hacker movie, Sneakers?
Yeah, of course, the Sneakers and Hackers, of course. Yeah, might be my favorites.
And were you happy with the contents of the box?
In Sneakers?
No, no, with like your brother.
Like no, okay, like that. Yeah. It's not something that I should say on
No, no, no.
streaming.
It's just
What was
I'm not
inside that
asking you what.
box? I was too young to see the content of that box. My brother is several years older.
Okay, I understand. And next question: what inspires you to focus on physical security rather than traditional cyber?
I do traditional cyber testing too, but the physical part is the most fun, and mostly because I'm able to break into places without getting arrested, like doing like a mini James Bond thing,
Yeah.
doing the reconnaissance at night and breaking in at night, jumping fences, crawling under fences, spying on people, sitting in a truck with a scope and trying to see pin codes when someone enters them on the panel and so on. So it's just cool. It's more action than the traditional cyber IT penetration testing.
Yeah, it's like because you do a pen test and then you write a report and then you do a pen test and then you write a report. It's like repetitive, you know. But then
Yeah,
on the assignment like that, there's like adventure, you know.
yeah. I was actually on a test earlier this week from Tuesday and Wednesday this week. And it's getting really cold in Norway now. It's like below zero. And we were out at night and crawling under a fence, going around the premises. Yeah, it was really cold, but it was really exciting. So we kept the adrenaline and the heart rate up to keep us warm.
Yeah, that is something. Oh, what? Uh, it's actually common. I thought it's a question that in the chat. Oh, my lockpicks are frozen.
Yeah, like frost on the lockpicks.
So, can you tell me what is physical pen testing and how does it differ from traditional digital pen testing? Or for like everyone else that to understand.
Yeah, it's more like when you're doing traditional cyber testing, you're just doing the computer stuff. You're sitting next to the keyboard and you, yeah, trying to hack a web app or Active Directory or something. But when you're doing the physical testing, it's actually physical. You're out there in the field, and as I mentioned earlier, you're climbing over fences, crawling under fences, trying to stalk people, tailgating people. It's more action. It's more, yeah.
Yeah, it's on site actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on site.
Okay. Can you walk us through the process of how a typical physical pen test unfolds?
For me, it is typically, I think we do the test quite a lot shorter than many do. I heard like Brian Harris talks about he uses several weeks on his test, but we'll use maybe like a week. And they start off with doing reconnaissance, like open source intelligence, just Googling, looking at maps, looking at hiring ads, looking at news articles, like and trying to find as much information as possible about the company. LinkedIn is a good source for information. We're trying to find out what kind of ID cards they're using. A lot of people are posting their ID cards on in news articles or on LinkedIn, like I just got a new job. Here's my ID card, or I just quit my job. Here, I'm leaving my ID card. Too many people are doing that. So if you just go to LinkedIn and search for quit my job or last day or something, you will get a lot of ID cards. So we make our ID card, so we have that ready. We map the customer, try to find as much information as possible, and also learn about the people working there and how they work together. If we are going to pretend to be someone else, we have to find out who are our colleagues, who are our boss, and so on. And then when we have all this intelligence in place, all this information, we're going out in the field and we're doing the on-site reconnaissance, like driving past the area, uh, looking at how it looks from the outside. Are there fences? Are there gates? Are the gates open? Are the gates closed? How are the routines of people going in and out? Both by when they come at work, do they drive? Do they walk? How does it look when they go inside the building? Do they swipe a card? Do they use a PIN code? And so on. So we try to gather as much information as possible. And when we have all that information, it's time to do the attack. So during that time, also we need to find out what kind of vectors should we try to do. Should we try to just tailgate someone? Should we try to snatch some cards, like skim some cards, access cards? Should we stay a bit away from the building, trying to look at the pin codes and so on? So when we have all that information, we have all the plans, then we're doing the attack. So then, yeah, either tailgating, which works way too many times, or mounting like equipment to skim the access cards, or trying to walk around the area at night. Is there any locks that can be picked? Is there any blocks that can be bypassed? Are there any open windows? Yeah, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. So first, there's, for example, if there was a company that asked you to do the physical engagement without the reconnaissance phase, would you say no?
Yeah, because we need the reconnaissance
Yeah, that's
phase. I've been, let's see. Now, you always need to gather the information because, or else you don't know
yeah,
what you're
what
running
you're
against.
doing actually.
Yeah.
Okay, what are some common vulnerabilities you've encountered when assessing a company's physical security? If you can share that, like,
Yeah, of course. Many places, at least here in Norway, they have access cards with weak technology. There's a lot of EM, the good old 125 kilohertz cards with only an ID. And you also have a lot of MyFair Classic, which is also very easy to crack. And of course, there's a lot of wrongly mounted locks, so you can use like a shimming tool or a traveler's hook to open the doors. And of course, tailgating. It's possible, like 90% of the tests I do, it's possible to tailgate. It's way too easy to get on the inside. But the last test I was on was just terrible because when we came there, we tried to tailgate. Everyone just turned 180 degrees around, watching the door close. It was that's the first place I've been to which has been so hard to tailgate.
so because you people are like naturally kind and helpful, that's why it works, the tailgating.
Excuse me, can you?
Because people are just like
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah. People are helpful. They will not. It's hard for people to say no. You don't belong here. Let me show. Let me see your ID. Never seen you before.
Yeah,
It's
it's uncomfortable.
yeah, especially here in Norway, people are very naive, and we're yeah, it's really hard for people to confront other people saying like, you don't belong here, you don't work here, but maybe you do work here, and that will be an awkward situation, and people will not have that situation, so they just let people in.
What I prefer to do, not react.
Yeah.
And I have a question in the chat. What could be a question? How, no, no. How much time would you prefer for a physical audit?
Ooh. In total, with both the information gathering and the execution of the attack and the report writing, at least a week, preferable more. But here in Norway, there are most of the customers we have is quite small. It's not so much information to gather, so it's yeah, yeah. So at least a week on the entire process, and up to like 2-3 weeks at the most.
Yeah. So, but is there any difference between like the time you need for a physical audit and pen test, or is like similar?
The similarities between audit and a pen test.
Mm-hmm.
Audits, I don't actually have done so much, but in an audit, you will just walk through the premises with your with the customer and say and look at all the vulnerabilities and maybe try to exploit them in front of them and showing how it can be done. But actually, let me think. I don't think I've done any audits, only pen tests.
But yeah, actually, if you are not very experienced at that area, then maybe doing an audit with like the client next to you is actually a better idea than just going in the building.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I actually have been thinking about it lately, that we need to try to get more people doing that, and maybe also many people will feel more safe doing that than doing the full pen test.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
Uh,
so that's actually something I've been thinking about doing more of.
well, actually, what Brian said, because I was like, how do I get into the field? So he said that, or you can ask big corporations or even your employer if you could perform an audit on, like, the building and see how it looks like. So,
Yeah,
uh,
are there
I,
more
I will
questions?
change the topic a bit for social engineering now. Uh,
Yeah.
my face is itchy, sorry. What are the essential skills of a good social engineer and physical pentester, or a physical pentester should have? Like, what skills do you need? Like, I don't know, eye for detail, or
For both social engineering and pen test,
yeah, yeah,
or yeah,
yeah,
can
for
start
both.
off with yeah, we can start off with physical pen test. To be able to be a physical penetration tester, I think you need to be curious, curious on how everything works. You need to be able to improvise. You need to have some mechanical and practical skills. Because a lot of this stuff, when trying to pick locks, when you're trying to open locks without picking them, and so it's mechanical. Um, you need to know at least some basic of electronics. But the most important one, I think, is you need to be able to improvise, because you never know what you meet when you get out there. You can do all kinds of information gathering. You can use like weeks and weeks of information gathering, but when you get to the site, you are sure to meet something that you haven't that you didn't know of. So you need to improvise both in the like what to wear, what tools to bring. Maybe you need to go to a hardware store to buy something. Maybe you need to make some own tools, because you see there is potential vulnerability on the door, but you don't. There doesn't exist any tools to exploit that. So you need to make something. So you need to be able to improvise. For social engineering, you need to be able to talk to people. And you need to be able to let's see, how should I say it, you need to be able to act like you belong, because that might be one of the most important things. I've seen
Confident.
that all the times when I'm doing social engineering things. If I just looks like I belong, if I just walk in, walk around the premises, maybe having these clothes looking like the people who works there, and doesn't hesitate around every corner, just look like you belong. I think that's probably the most important thing, at least in my head. And there too, be able to improvise, because if you are confronted by someone, you never know what kind of questions they will ask. So you need to be able to adapt to and think quick. What should you answer? What is your excuse for being there? Yeah.
So probably looking like deer in headlights is not a good choice, you know?
Like, no, that's not a good choice. It's hard. It's hard because you are there. You're being confronted with someone. You're standing there, lying someone straight up to their face. You're
Yeah.
trying to hold your mask. You're trying to not sweat. You're trying to just be calm and look normal, not nervous. It's hard. And
Yeah.
as Brian Harris always says, you need to train this. You need to talk to people all the time to be able to make yourself more comfortable of talking to strangers.
Yeah, like he said that it's you can practice that in the store and like with for example jewelry or car dealership because they want to talk to you and they want to make a sale. And
Yeah,
so yeah, that would be like a good place to practice that.
yeah. And
Uh,
if there's some salesperson at the store, yeah, everywhere, just they want to sell you something, they want to talk to you, so just exploit that and use them.
yeah, actually I might start doing that because usually I'm just like yeah I I just want to walk around myself, but if they're like
Yeah.
coming to you and like they want to talk, then
I have the exact same problem. I'm not really a human person, so I really have to work with myself to be able to talk better with people. So I'm working on it.
yeah, that's why I actually started the stream because I'm like a very introverted person. So, and sometimes it's really hard to find the right words. But if I'm like forced to be like on air and like not being stressed, then I don't know, it helps. So I guess that's baby steps, you know. Okay, I have another question. Can you share any interesting stories where you successfully bypassed physical security? What technique did you use?
Oh, there's so many. Let's see if I'm going to find some good stories here. Uh, yeah, like a couple of weeks ago, we did a test against power company here in Norway. There we actually we did a IT test, the cyber test first, and then we were moving over to the physical test afterwards. And the goal of the test was to get into the EMP proof room, server room, like electromagnetic pulse safe room. Whoa, how are we going to do that? You have like, first you have to get into the building, you have to find that room, you have to get through at least one door. We found that it was like 3 doors after getting inside the building. And we had no ID because only a very few people had access to that room. The mechanics of the door was really secure. It wasn't possible to break in. Now, if we had a sledgehammer and a crowbar, we might have been able, but this was a non-destructive test. So we started off with the IT test, and we were able to compromise the entire AD, of course, like we do in short time most of the time. And from there, we were able to move into the access control system management. Because of some default passwords and so on, we were able to get into that system where you could access all the card data, you can access all persons, you can edit the access all persons had. So we had that access, and then we moved on to the physical test, and then we found out what kind of access control system they had on site, what kind of readers. They were using the MIFARE Classic with encrypted sector, and we were able to read the encryption key out of a reader with the MF-key 32 attack using a good old flipper. So we had what sector does the data lie on and what key was used. Then we made our own skimming device out of. Then we had to improvise because I had a Proxmark. We had a Raspberry Pi. We had a power bank. We had a 4G modem, USB modem just laying around. And we needed to go to a hardware store and get a box that all this will fit in. And we made this into a skimmer. So we had the Proxmark connected to our Raspberry Pi, the 4G modem, and the power bank, all placed into a small electrical box. And we were able to place this under the reader using like double-sided tape, which was a bit too powerful because when we ripped it off the wall, the paint followed with it. But that's another thing. So we mounted this below the reader, and we sat in a van, like 30 meters away from the reader with a scope, trying to look for pin codes. It was a bit too dark, so we were not able to get the pin codes, but we were able to snatch like 3 or 4 cards. So we had these cards, and then the day after, we went in, like just tailgating into the building, because we were able to create cards out of that data we got, but we didn't have the pin codes, so we were not able to enter the building because they were using pin codes all day. So we just tailgated in, and we stayed into the building till night when everyone left. Then we found out that to be able to connect to the network was harder than we thought because they were using 802.1x network authentication. But luckily, in one of the IT guys' office, we found a network socket which was not having a network authentication. So we managed to get into there, and we used the information we had from that internal penetration test, and I connected to the access control system management software, and we found the card that we had been able to skim, a clone, and just elevated the privileges of that card to be able to get into the server room and the EMP room. And then we just went in there and beeped, and also the software had the pin code in clear text in the GUI. So we just saw the pin code, went down to the computer room, beeped ourselves in, and then beeped ourselves into several more doors and into the EMP room, which was the goal. So that's one of the more successful tests that I've done lately.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, maybe that's connected to what you just said, but how do you prepare for a pen test when you know you have to gain access to highly secure locations?
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, you have to do as much information gathering that you can. Um, so it's not so easy to prepare more for that kind of job, because you have to get on site and being able to improvise, because you're not able to see what kind of vectors might show up when you're there.
Yeah, but probably preparing as much as you can is a good idea, because maybe you can come and like be in like the area that you're locked in between the guards and the door, and then how is that called?
Ah, when you're
If you
moving through the gate with two doors, you mean?
Yeah, when you go through the first door, so you probably should know what you can expect after that point, because you might be locked in between that area that you just.
Yeah, you might be in a man trap, and
Oh
then
yeah,
it's
that's
yeah. Yeah, then you might be screwed if you because you might get into a man trap. The door behind you might close, and you're not able to open it again. That never happened to me, luckily, but you might get
fingers
caught there.
crossed.
Yeah, cross my fingers, not to die.
Okay. Next question. How do organizations react when you successfully infiltrate their premises? Have you ever had any surprises during an engagement?
Um, it all depends. Some people are just happy and just think it's fun that we're able to compromise them. Some people get kind of upset and mad because they thought they had really good security, and they didn't think anyone would be able to break in, so they're just being kind of sad. But most of the people are glad that we're able to find the vulnerabilities because before the bad guys do,
Yeah, that's
which is
actually
the point of a test.
That's actually the point, yeah. But if someone takes it personally, then yeah, probably not too good way to go about it. Yeah.
No, we have had some cases when we have been doing social engineering there, where people have got upset. If we have been lying about, like, if we're doing some phishing and we had some mails with the topic of bonus or salary or something, some people have got kind of upset.
Oh, yeah. I understand that. Uh, Next one is, what is the riskiest and or most challenging physical pen test you've done, and what made it so difficult?
That's actually the one I was on this week, where it seemed like everyone was informed about the test like 2 days before. At least it seemed like that, and I hope it wasn't like that, but I think maybe everyone was informed, because there was a gate, closed gate. People were driving through. When they drove through the gate, they stopped up, waiting for the gate to close, both when getting in and out. And this is one I told you about earlier about the tailgating inside the building. Everyone just turned 180 degrees, watching the door close. And we tried to swipe a card, like our dummy card, in front of the reader before the door closed, just to like show that we were meant to swipe our card and we have access. But then they said like there was no beep, so so they were really aware. And that's I think that's the worst test I've been on. And we also walked around there at night. We were able to get through the fence like by crawling under it, but we found no vulnerabilities on any doors or nothing. So it was, yeah, it was not a success. It was a failure.
But actually, maybe it was a success because the client is secure. I don't know, or
Yeah,
maybe they just had a training.
yeah, and the client was really happy, of course, because they were secure. But we also talked to the guy who hired who bought the test, and we said that, yeah, maybe a lot of people were informed now, but what if this happened like in 3 months, 4 months? So maybe we should try again in like 3 or 4 months, and you will not inform your employees um, about the test, and we will see, are they still that aware? Will they keep the awareness? That will be interesting, because we're doing a test again in March or something. So it will be very interesting to see.
It will be interesting to do it and like the Christmas season when everyone is like happy and thinking about, the mistletoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one. What are some of the most important tools you carry with you when performing a physical pen test?
I always carry some shim tools and a traveler's hook, and also the good old trusty flipper. Um, Proxmark is always with me, but if I should just take it down to a bare minimum, it will be a shim tool and a traveler's hook and a flipper. But I always carry a backpack with me, so I have a small crowbar, several shimming tools. I have these like flexible plastic shim tools, like these sheets. You might know them.
Yeah.
Lock picks, of course, different kinds. So lock picks and like this shimming tool for key boxes. I always carry with me. Also always have a screwdriver and a Leatherman with me because many times I need some tools. So I think, yeah, that's probably the most important tools that I bring.
And what kind of a screwdriver, if I may ask? Because there are different kinds.
Yeah, I have this Vera screwdriver with lots of bits inside the handle.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I think it was actually Devent Olaf. I saw him had it in one of his videos. So that's a nice one, and I bought that German quality. So I'm
So,
doing some free commercials for them now. But yeah,
but if it's
I
good,
can
then
show you. Yeah, I can show you afterwards if you're interested in some quality tools.
yeah, I will try to buy the stuff for myself. So it will be good to know where to go to for quality stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Oh yeah. What I'm looking for the question. Are there any low-tech techniques that still work surprisingly well in a modern physical security breaches?
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, the tailgating is quite low tech, and of course the shimming tools and the traveler's hook, like attacking the latch mechanism. Because in many times you don't have the security latch, and sometimes you have the security latch, but the gap between the door and the frame is too large. So maybe it's too large, so you just can shim regularly, or maybe you just need a small crowbar to just bend it a little bit more open, and then you're able to shim the door.
Yeah.
So a small crowbar is really handy to have in your backpack.
Good to know. Okay.
Covered instruments like Lockpick Lawyer have a small crowbar on this shop, which is really nice.
It's like a woman's purse friendly crowbar because it's tiny.
Yep.
Okay. Do you have a secure? Do you have to secure special permissions before engaging in certain aspects of a pen test, such as impersonating staff?
Mm, no, it's mostly the get out of jail free card, which everyone needs to have before doing a physical test. So yeah, that's about it. We have the contract, which specifies the assignment, and we have this get out of jail free card. And on
Uh,
the get out of jail free card, we always have at least two persons and at least two phone numbers people can talk
and
and
they
call.
and they know where you'll be going in, so they can be, near the phone to pick it up.
Hopefully, it's yeah, that's the reason we need to have several people, because if one of them is sleeping or on the toilet or just busy, we need to have someone else to talk. So more people, till better it is.
Okay, so remember, kids, always get out of the jail free card with you and like hide it in your pocket.
Oh yes,
Uh,
and don't lose it while on an assignment, because that can be quite embarrassing. Actually, I had my get out jail free card in my pocket, and I just pulled my phone up or something, and I dropped the get out jail free card, and I just kept walking around, and whoa, where's that paper? It's gone. So I had to just walk back my trail, and luckily I found it.
oh, that's good.
uh, Keep
And
it with you and keep it in a safe place. I always have have it in my phone cover or in my wallet, or maybe in the inner pocket of my jacket or something. So don't have it in your back pocket or in your front pants pockets. It's too easy to drop.
Yeah, actually, maybe that's a bit embarrassing to admit, but I don't wear anything in my back pocket because I once drowned my phone in the toilet when I was just like,
Yeah,
so
I did. Someone stole my phone once. I was having my phone in my back pocket. So yeah, not doing that again.
yeah, that mistake won't happen again. So it's good to remember. How do you handle a situation where you caught in the middle of a pen test? What's your plan B?
Um, if you're caught, like someone is confronting you,
Yeah, like,
yeah,
oh, who are you? You know?
then we're back to the improvising thing. So we're trying to lie yourself out of it, trying to do the social engineering part and trying to explain why you're there and why you need to be there and so on. But sometimes people are just good, and they're actually, it's not possible to convince them that you're someone else. So then you just need to pull up your get out jail free card. Luckily, it doesn't happen often, but sometimes it does.
Yeah, tell the truth, right?
Yeah, tell the truth. And
Uh,
actually, I noticed that in many places, some companies actually get more out of that because then they start talking about it afterwards. Like, we had this guy who was breaking in, but I caught him, and then just talking about it in lunch and blah blah blah. And I think maybe it's the other people then are thinking like, I'm never going to let someone else in. I'm not doing anything worse than that man. So yeah, I think it's actually a good thing for companies when we get caught. It's boring for us, but I think they learn a lot from it.
yeah, yeah, and that person that caught you is so proud of themselves, you know. So you have to also say, "Oh, very good
Yeah,
job."
yeah, yeah. Of course, we always do that. Like, oh, you are really good. That's what you should do. Congratulations, you caught me. Yeah. So we need to brag them.
And they feel like Batman.
Yeah, they feel really good, like Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Okay, next one. For companies looking to improve their physical security, what are the top three steps they should take immediately?
um, make their employees aware so they don't fall onto tailgating, so people not able to follow them. Also, uh, do a physical audit and map all your doors, all your entrances to see if there's any vulnerabilities there. And don't use cards with bad technology. Don't use EM cards and MyFair Classic and so on anymore. Use up to date. But many places you can't just upgrade your access control system because it will cost like a lot. So at least then use pin code all day, or and teach the people to cover the panel when they enter the pin code and so on. Yeah,
And
that
yeah,
might be the
be
three.
aware.
Yeah, be aware. Go through your entrances and look for vulnerabilities, and harden your access control system, I would say.
A very good advice and like very good things to cover there. And what ad what advice would you give to individuals who want to prevent themselves from being targets of social engineering attacks?
Be suspectful, just be aware and suspect. Trust no one is actually a better thing. Like, if something looks or sounds too good to be true, it most possibly is. And if something just sounds strange, it might be strange. Like, for example, if there suddenly are some IT people there doing some IT work, they're fixing something, they're troubleshooting something, but you never heard about any issues. so maybe you should confront them. But many people have problems confronting others. So if you're not able to confront the people you suspect are doing something wrong yourself, go to your leader, your boss, whoever, and make them confront them instead, or the CISO, the security officer.
Yeah, so don't be shy about asking who the fudge are you?
No, no, no. Yeah, don't be shy. But some people are shy, and some people don't want to confront. So then you just have to don't be afraid to walk to your security officer or your someone else and make them confront the individual instead.
So I have a question in the chat about what is written on your t-shirt.
Ah, it says, whoa, it says, yes, I am a
Crime of
criminal.
a crime
My
of curiosity.
my crime is out of curiosity. Yeah. So if someone is curious about where that quote is from, you should Google it. Do you know where it's from?
Not at this moment. Probably, yeah, I probably will Google it too. I
Yeah,
probably know, but now it's like I'm on the spot. So,
it's from Hacker Manifesto.
oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
So it's actually it's a freebie on one conference I was at one time. So I really like it. Yes, I am a
Th
criminal. My crime is that out of
th
curiosity.
those are nice. I collect those.
Yeah,
Have
right
there
is always nice.
okay? Have there been any memorable failures where things didn't go as planned during the pen test? What did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, it's been this one I just talked about, where everyone seemed to be informed about the test. But um, another test I did, we were able to get an access card. We were able to get into the elevator, and took the elevator up to the floor where we were supposed to go. Walking out the elevator, the first person I meet is my contact person, which knows about the assignment. So um, if there are people you know, because if you're doing a test for a company in your hometown or something, there might be people you know on the target, or if there are people you have been in meeting with or something, you have maybe try to make sure they are out of office when you're doing the test.
Yeah, that's a good.
Yeah, I have a colleague. We were doing a test in a company close to where he lives, and several of his neighbors work for that company. So we were on the inside, and they were just, "Are you working here?" Yeah, I just got a new job. So, so it can be awkward. Yeah, especially when there's people you know, be careful.
And then they will ask you about it 3 days later.
Yep, they did to him, so it was a bit awkward.
Okay. So that's like kind of like running out of questions, but there is one in the chat as well. Is it easier for reconnaissance in Norway? Like you could hide in the snow or something?
The snow is actually not so beneficial because it leaves tracks.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but like now it's really dark outside after like 5 p.m. So that's a good thing. But is there any benefits with doing a pen test here?
Maybe the people, or you said that they are more like naive and like
Yeah, they're really
like
naive. And we haven't been in any conflicts in many years, but there are actually now with some people to the east and so on. We are companies are getting more aware of the situation, and I think there will be a lot more physical pen tests in the future because of what happens in the world.
yeah. So, but like to compare, Polish people are like very suspicious, and it's like
E-
very yeah. We are like, for example, Brian gave a few examples on his training that like there was like a CEO coming cleaning staff and like offering them coffee and like being super nice to them. And I felt like very uncomfortable because to me, I would ask, "What do you want from me?" It's like super suspicious. That never happens. And like, why are you so nice to me? There are like interior motives there. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know,
Yeah, but here in Norway it would be like more, oh, thank you, you're so kind. Not asking any questions.
yeah, I will be straight away
Here's
like,
my password. Let me open this door for you.
"Oh, that's so kind of you, Mister."
Yeah.
Okay, last question, kind of, what is the most satisfying part of your job as a physical pen tester or social engineer?
Of course, that's when you reach the goal. For example, when we had this, the goal was to get into the EMP room. It was really a good feeling when we got into there because we had no idea that we would be able to get in there. And like doing new stuff, like building out in the field, like building something like that actually works. After you're improvising, you're building something, you hook it up to the wall, or you're trying to break into the door or something with it, and it works. That's really satisfying. Um, yeah.
Probably feeling like James Bond is too, right?
Excuse me.
Probably feeling like James Bond on the assignment is too,
Yeah.
kind of.
Sometimes that's really good. That's a good thing about the job.
Okay, so if there are any questions in the chat, then please write those. But I'm asking actually my last question because I already asked you for your favorite hacker movie,
Yeah,
and my favorite.
sneakers has to be sneakers.
I really like that movie too. It's like very, yeah. I
Which,
watched it recently, actually, not like when it came out, so I was surprised that it's so good.
yeah.
And then last question, what is your favorite food? Because yeah, that's my favorite
Mm,
topic.
steak, steak, steak with pepper sauce and fries.
Fries. Mm. Now I'm hungry. Okay, so no questions showing up in the chat, so I guess that's it. We ended a bit early, so there was a good pace of question and answer. Thank you for showing up on my stream and answering my questions. If you have anything to add at the end, then please, there's that now is the time for do that.
Yeah, I'm happy to be allowed on the on your show. It's been really interesting, and hopefully the listeners also liked it. And of course, if you have any more questions, just shoot them because I know that you had a long list earlier. So if you have any more questions, you can bring them on. Of course, yeah, it's interesting to see that a lot of new people are trying to get into the physical security area, and a lot of people are getting interested in it. I can see from like Discord channels, like Court Access Teams channel, and the Proxmark channel, and channels like that. There's a lot of interesting in both the physical parts, like lock picking and so on, but also the RFID, which is really good. And the community is really growing.
Yeah, I'm really happy, and I think I have to ask you about addresses of those Discord channels because I would like to join. And
Yeah,
so yeah, that is a wrap. Thank you for coming, and yeah, I will going to change the screen now.
yeah.
And thank you
Thank
for
you.
everyone for coming as well. Uh,